boy, what's up? Welcome to another episode of the Knucklehead Chronicles podcast, man. I'm your man, the guru. Y'all know me. And then my man, Quinn.
What's happening?
I know, right? On behalf of KP and E. Diggers, they are working and a family emergency, respectively, between those two. So shout out to those guys. Listen, if you are in the building, please stay, because I got some. Listen, I dug up a special treat for y'all. So you have to stay. You have to stay. If you don't stay, you're gonna miss the treat. Then you're gonna be inboxing me later talking about, why you tell me to stay? Why you tell me to stay? But today we have a great show lined up. There are three topics that we're gonna get into today. We're gonna get into Roe v. Wade, of course. So that's the big hitter. We're gonna talk about Bishop Dwight Reed here in a little bit. Those of you that don't know him, we'll get to know him real good. And the topic for today will be, there is no hate like Christian love. That's the topic for today. We're going to get into that. So before we get into that, I want to say, what's up, Quinn? How was your week, brother? What's going on with you?
Man, I've been good, man. How about yourself?
Man, it's Sunday. It's another week that I made it through.
Yeah, I just worked. I just finished 98-hour pay period. Finna do another 98-hour, 99-hour pay period.
Man, so you're Jamaican. I thought you was American. You're not American?
I am American.
Oh, you know.
I'm more Choctaw. I'm more Choctaw than Jamaican.
you straight Jamaican out here. All right, so listen, we're not gonna waste any time with it. We're gonna get right into the topic. I have a special guest on the show today, and me and this young lady go back. Miss her tremendously. Glad she was able to jump on with me today. I really appreciate her. So I'm going to introduce her this way. Okay, if you guys are on TikTok, if you're not on TikTok, you really should be, right? Because that's where everybody at. If you've never heard of the Blackurate News on TikTok or Facebook, where you been? But I'm gonna play a little something for you. Hold tight. Let's see if I can find it. Here we go.
Absolutely overjoyed at this decision, but here's the irony. Tonight we are bracing for Democrat cities vandalized by Democrat voters and Democrat states where their abortion laws won't be affected by today's ruling.
Of course, Bobblehead is overjoyed. She allegedly already did what she needed to do, but I digress. So what Bobblehead said there is basically what the Republicans' talking point has been today. The Republicans have been going on faux news, OAN, basically any place they can go to hurry up and lie. That is basically what they've been saying. So there was a protest at the Capitol in Phoenix, Arizona today. And at the beginning of the day, it was peaceful. They peacefully marched to the Capitol and chanted and protested, and everything was all good. But then this happened. So that's what was happening when the police showed up and they decided to do this without any warning. According to protesters, they didn't say anything about dispersing. They just decided to do this. So, of course, faux news reported it like this. Arizona abortion protest. Police released tear gas. Lawmakers held hostage in the Senate building. Child, anyway, so they fired the tear gas, but baby, them protesters, hell no, we won't go. The protesters said, "We will not comply." So, no word on if anyone was arrested or if anyone was hurt. But of course, I will keep you guys updated to any changes. But this is breaking news. Look, if they didn't do anything about the front and dump tank sniffers breaking down fences and hitting people with flagpoles and bear spray, a little rattling of the doors ain't gonna hurt nobody. But let's remain peaceful. Don't do what they think you're gonna do. Let's keep it G-rated, players. Put your thoughts in the comments. This is Double D.
All right. So now, if you guys don't recognize that commentary and don't know who, when you hear "Hey Player," or when you hear Lauren Bobblehead, or when you hear anything like that, you don't recognize that voice, you are in the wrong line of work. Okay. Who I have today is my special guest, Miss Tiffany Jones, aka Double D Mother. She is the creator of the Blackeret News Network over there on Facebook and everywhere else for that matter. So everybody give her a standing ovation. Round of applause, all that for Miss Tiffany.
Hello, hello. Hey, players.
Hey, player. You know, and I still live for what a disgrace.
I
I
declare,
still,
honey. What a disgrace. I think everybody else likes it now, too.
I'll tell you, yeah, Brianna, that she done made it big too. She's on, what was that? That one I saw your TikTok last night, and it was, you had made some reel.
The Daily Caller. That was my liberal tears. And then NPR. I was on NPR. I was very happy about that. National Public Radio. That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I was shocked about that one.
That's pretty dope. So this is what we're gonna do. And the reason why I brought Tiff on, because I told her the other day when I texted that nobody can bring home a point like Tiff Jones. Not be it, you know, I don't work with her and all that. I know what she can do. So we're gonna get into the Roe v. Wade conversation, okay? Because that is the burning topic of the country. Miss Tiffany, when I saw your TikTok, and I got that one too, but I didn't play that one when you broke the news that they had overturned it. As a woman, what went through your head? What was your thoughts? I mean, there had been rumblings about it before they finally overturned it, but what were your thoughts as you were?
I mean, I had already worked through my emotions with it, but I'm just gonna go back to when I heard the leak, because honestly, the leak was where I had the first initial shock of it. Like, you know, as a woman having no rights to your body autonomy, um, it's disgusting, you know. But um as I'm sitting here as a Black woman, I have to say that Black women have not had control over their body autonomy for a very long time. I mean, going back to slavery, we could talk about that. You know, I've been telling people, and I'm just going to keep it a stack with you because I can't be any other way. This overturning of Roe v. Wade is not about the Black woman's uterus. This is about the white woman's uterus. And I don't know if you have any white listeners here, but hey, I keep it a stack with my white players, so I'm gonna keep it a stack with yours. This isn't about the Black uterus. This is about the white uterus. The Black uteruses have already been in the kitchen. We have already been involuntarily sterilized. We have already been forcibly pregnant or made forcibly unpregnant. We've already been in these situations. What this is about is the control of the white woman's uterus to make sure that they are pumping out those children, because at the end of the day, we have to be honest and say that the white population is decreasing. And I'm talking about Black women, we're not having the abortions at the alarming rate. If you look at the Planned Parenthood, I'm not going to say alarming. I'm going to say a higher rate. So I'm going to backpedal on that one. But we are not having the abortions at the higher rate. Black women are not. Even women of color. These are white women that are having these abortions. So what they're trying to do is control those. They want to strong arm the uteruses of white women. So what does that mean for us? That means that white women now need to join us at the table at the cookout, and they need to say, hey, what do I need to do regarding this? What can we do? We need to stand in front of you in this fight, because at the end of the day, now they're personally attacking us. We've been telling you this. We've been telling you that we've been dying from these pregnancies, the Black maternal mortality rate is the highest in, in throughout any demographic. So when I first heard of it, I thought, well, a white woman's mad. And
Somewhere.
yeah, they're mad.
What's
They're
up,
gonna
man?
be mad about this. Absolutely.
I you know, when I first heard the rumblings about Roe v. Wade,
Hmm.
I was like, well, they're not going to overturn it. It's been standing too long. I mean, it's one of those. It's been up for what 50 years, something like that.
Hmm.
Um, and I have daughters, and so for me, do this for me, Tiff. Break down for me what, for those that are listening that don't understand really what Roe v. Wade meant, the law itself, and how it fits into the overturning.
Well, Roe v. Wade is basically giving you the constitutional right to have an abortion, meaning you have the constitutional right over your body. Back in 1973, Roe v. Wade was taken in front of the Supreme Court, and that was when RBG was there. That's Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Justice
Mhm.
Ginsburg. That's when she was there. And basically, what they were arguing is that the ability to have and seek an abortion legally should be a constitutional right, and they ruled in favor of that. Now here's the thing, the ruling that we got on Friday, not only is it Roe v. Wade, but it is also Casey versus Planned Parenthood. So they went beyond the scope of Roe v. Wade and actually overturned Casey versus Planned Parenthood, which basically takes away all of your constitutional rights to an abortion, and it will basically leave it up to the states to whatever laws that they would do. Basically, what the justices were saying is that this needs to be determined by the states themselves. So anywhere you go, there will be a different law based on what state you live in. But what Roe v. Wade and Casey versus Planned Parenthood does is made it a constitutional right. They have stripped that constitutional right away and said, hey, you no longer have this constitutional right. Whatever your state says you're supposed to do, that is what you're going to do, period. So if they say you can't have an abortion in the state of Louisiana, if they say you can't have an abortion, period, you can't have an abortion, period. Even if it's incest, even if it's rape, even if it's
Yeah. That's what
going to
got me.
cause you to die. You know what I'm saying? Anything. They can literally say that your body is basically a holding cell for this child. And whether you birth this child healthy or not, you're gonna do it because I said you're gonna do it. That's basically what they did on Friday. And that's Roe v. Wade in itself. I got to spirit it there. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
And also me being from Mississippi, living in Mississippi, you literally had these when they were up for their to be when they were in front of the Senate. I forgot when they were making their campaign to become justices. You had Kavanaugh and everybody saying that, oh, it's, you know what I'm saying, it's written law, it's precedence. We won't do this, we won't do this. You knew then they were lying through their teeth, because Trump said he was only going to appoint justices that would overturn Roe v. Wade. So when he tapped them on their shoulder for that position, he already knew in his mind that these people were going to say what they were going to say just to become a justice. And the thing is for me, in this country where there's supposed to be a separation of church and state, the minority, which is the Republicans, they're the minority in this country. They are pushing their own moral and religious views on the rest of the country. But here's the thing. How can you say that the control of a woman's body goes back to the states, but when it comes to gun laws, that needs to be federal?
Absolutely.
I don't understand.
You just overturned New York state gun law and said they can't have that law, but you want to tell because because of federal statutes. But you want to say Roe v. Wade isn't a federal statute, so you can overturn that and return back to the state. Nobody should have control over another person's body.
Absolutely.
I totally agree with that 100%. I mean, like I said before, at the top, is that I don't, I have daughters. I have two grown girls, and then I have Zariah, who is 11. And I know Idaho just passed a law here, was it a couple months ago, where if a child or if a woman has an abortion, the other party can actually sue the person who had the abortion. Like, who? Okay, so Tiff, let me ask you this: now that they have overturned Roe v. Wade, what's next?
Well, just about 6 months ago, we had the Women's Reproduction Act that was passed in the House of Representatives. That was supposed to codify, and what I mean by codify is basically enforce, or not enforce, but kind of put a little bit of umph behind Roe v. Wade, kind of keep it to where even if it was overturned, you would still have this to fall back on. So that was passed in the House of Representatives, but when it was passed when it went to the Senate, of course, it was DOA. It did not pass at the Senate. Now that would have basically said that, hey, you have a right to get an abortion up to, I believe it was 15 weeks in that or something like that, which is basically what Roe v. Wade was. So what's next now is, number one, they could go back and redo that vote at the House, maybe tweak it a little bit, and they could re-present it at the Senate. They're going to have to be able to get rid of the filibuster in order for anything to happen. That's not going to happen. But we have a very important election that's coming up in November that even if they do it, I mean, if we don't keep control of the House, it's not going to matter. You know what I mean?
You have to gain seats in the Senate also.
Yes, we
is
definitely
there a
need
possibility of that happening?
Not in November. Not in November. Not in November. We're gonna have to wait till 2024 for that, because I don't think anybody is up that will flip a seat is up for up for grabs. But in the House, we could lose the House, definitely. So that can happen. Also, I just want to bring this to your viewers' attention. If you know any nonprofit organizations that are supporting abortion rights, like the travel for the people that's going to be living in these states that are going to have to travel to other states. Like if you're in the state of Louisiana, Mississippi, you're going to have to go all the way over to California, or even farther beyond that to gain access to an abortion. So finding your nonprofit organizations that are going to be supporting that, also supporting the businesses that will be funding travel. Nike is one. They will be funding. They have put a travel reimbursement. Levi, Dick's Sports.
Goods,
There's several. Chase Bank, they're actually going to be supporting those businesses that do have that. Now I'm not going to tell you to go out and just support just because of that. You need to look at some of the other things, because just because they're supporting that doesn't mean they're not strong arming something else. So definitely doing that. But that's basically what's next. If Congress wants to act, they're going to have to pass some kind of law. I highly doubt that it would happen. But I mean, it's worth a try to at least let the American people know that you're listening and you're watching. But if you're not going to get rid of the filibuster, it's not going to happen. Period.
And as long as you got cinema and
mansion
in there, you won't have any real change in gun laws, and you won't have any real change in abortion rights either, because those are the two senators. And let me just put this out there, not to get off topic, but I wish people understood how government works and knew what the powers of the president are, because the president only can do so much. That's why there are three equal branches of government. So for folks that say, oh, Obama didn't do this, Biden ain't doing this, and all of that, when you're hamstrung by your Senate or by your justice, the executive branch can't do it. The judicial branch and the other branch can't do anything.
Absolutely
won't let you do anything if you're hamstrung by them.
I would say that, and what I call President Biden or any president for that matter, they're just a glorified spokesperson.
That's
I
right.
appreciate for him to go out to these cities where these massacres, these tragedies have happened. Of course, it's good and refreshing to see a president that can show some type of empathy. It's good to see him have the moral compass that is needed to lead a country. However, he doesn't have any powers whatsoever other than his executive orders. And honestly, I always say about executive orders that they're not worth the paper that they're printed on, because the next president that comes along can just throw those out. We saw him do that so many times with Donald Trump.
Trump, yeah.
So, it's very important that we understand how government works. And if you're not voting, if you're just voting for the president and you're expecting change, then you're not going to see the change. If you're not voting at your local elections, I'm going to get off my soapbox, but I will say this. If you're not voting at your local elections where you have your state senators, because these laws that are now these trigger laws that are making it illegal to have abortions in these states, these were done at the state level. These aren't federal laws. So you just think about that for a second. These are the people that are voted for every 2 years that you are too lazy to go down there and vote for, but you will scurry your ass on down there and vote for the president and wait in the line for hours. However, you did not do it when it comes down to the local elections, and now you're stuck with this state senator that is sitting up here passing all kind of gun laws and voting rights and all this kind of stuff, but you looking at the president to fix it. He can't freaking fix it because this is done at the state level. So look, that's you need to get out and vote.
You're
You need to
exactly
support.
right. Because I know for a fact, I know a lot of people, like, especially in my hometown, they be like, man, they want to change this. They want, y'all got to get out. And like, if you got people who've been on and when she says local, that also extends to your city government, also your district attorneys, your mayors, your city council, all of that.
Chief of police.
Chief of police, sheriff, all of that. That controls what goes on in your city. Now, you have to vote for your congressman, and you have to vote for your state congress and your state senators also. Also on the national level too. We have to take advantage of all these different blocks of voting. That means going to the primary, doing the primary voting also, because I know a lot of people, especially in our community, why I'm gonna waste my time going voting? They ain't gonna do nothing for us anyway. The thing is, you have to put people in power that has the same mindset as you.
Yeah.
And we have the numbers to make change, but if we don't utilize our numbers, then what can we complain about?
Exactly.
Y'all know me. Both of y'all know me. Y'all know I'm very simple. I'm very simple. This is how I feel about it right now.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
So we're gonna go ahead and move right along to our next topic. We're gonna listen. Before I want to ask Tiff, can you stay on you stay on with the next topic?
Yeah, I'll stay on, but you know what, y'all go talk about Bishop, and I don't know who that is, but I'm gonna listen to y'all. Okay,
we're gonna get into it. No. I'm gonna run video. One thing you taught me while we do get stuff together. So, so here we go. We're gonna talk about Bishop David Reed. David Reed is a bishop out of, I can't remember what state he's in, but he ended up marrying one of his parishioners who was 18 years old, who was the daughter of one of his ministers inside of the church. And so when the minister and when his wife were going through marital trouble, he counseled them. So that's when he met little mama at 14 years old and decided that he wanted to go ahead and marry her. Remember a little bit of that beautiful being footage. This is a TikToker. I can't think of the lady's name. I'm gonna run it. Here you go.
Hey y'all, just coming through with this story that I just caught wind of on another social media platform, aka Facebook. This gentleman here, his name is Dwight Reed. He's 63 years old. He's a bishop in Iowa. This young lady right here, her name is, make it right, Jordan Goodlet. She's 18 years old and she attends the church. Now she attends the church as the first lady because apparently, allegedly, Mr. Reed married her a day after she turned 18 years old. And this is allegedly his fourth wife, right? And word on the curb is her father walked her down the aisle for this particular wedding, and her mom did not attend. And as you may understand, those parents are divorced. But Mr. Reed was their counselor while they were going through their divorce problems, allegedly.
I'm gonna stop it right there. So, my question: did he groom her?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A day
It
after
is
her 18th birthday, absolutely.
that
You
relationship been
disgusting.
going on for a while. That's disgusting.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And here's my thing, and a lot of people say I'm wrong for how I feel, but I absolutely feel this way for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in my high school. We had a lot of teachers having relationships with students. That was disgusting to me. And I feel like if you are not born within the same bracket as someone, like me, I set standards for myself. I'm not going to date someone I'm 5 years older than or someone I'm 5 years younger than, because I don't feel like we have anything in common.
Mm-hmm.
Now, according to this gentleman, you married her a day after she turns 18, and you met her when she was 14. You were molesting that child at one point in your life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hear nothing, and I hate the hypocrisy of the church. I hate it with a passion. Simply because y'all sit here, y'all all holier than thou, but the pastor around here that goes for the Catholic Church, and everything else too. Y'all doing all this preaching, but y'all messing with these children. You sleeping with your parishioners, all of this, and you sitting up there. And to me, church ain't nothing but a hustle now.
Yeah, you know what? We're gonna get into that. Hold that right there. I just want Mr. Reed though, and I'm gonna talk about this on what's on E Digger's mind here at 7:30 Central Time. I'm taking over his show tonight. With me and Pastor Michelle Mostella. So y'all make sure you tune in for that. But she put this, there's a video of him behind the pulpit, and he is condoning everything that he's done, and because he has caught so much hate for what is going on, he's trying to defend her. I don't have that video because it's too long, but it was a whole bunch of nonsense and rigmarole that he had no business saying. He groomed this baby from 10 years, 14, where time he met her. Well, he met her at 14 when he was counseling her parents.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into this one for a video, because that's
that's good. Yeah,
and her mother not attending, and I can understand her mother not attending, because
she didn't.
It could have been my daughter, because Daddy walking down the aisle. You know what? I would have walked down the aisle just to get close enough to him to put my hands on him and ruin everything.
I just want to talk to him. But here's the thing: this is my personal feeling. I believe that Pastor has something on the daddy. That's when they was going through counseling, and so either the daddy was doing some dirt and he knew Pastor knew, and so he was kind of, maybe it was a blackmail. My first thought was a blackmail, that he knew something on dad and he would spill the beans.
Ain't nothing worth your child. Ain't no blackmail worth your child.
And then but at that point become mute because they divorced anyways. So I don't know, but still, I really feel like in my bones he groomed her, and you a nasty son of a gun. But we're gonna talk about tonight at 7:30. I'm gonna come and check this out. So what we're gonna do? I got a word from the sponsor. We're gonna break. We're gonna get into our last topic of the evening, and it's gonna take us out to the break. So hang tight.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
everybody, you guys, and welcome back, man. We're gonna get into the topic of the evening. The topic today is "Ain't No Hate Like Christian Love." Man, let me tell you something. When I posted this earlier this week, when I tell you I got crickets, nobody liked it. Nobody commented. None of that. Now, and I think a lot of the people that I roll with normally, are pastors and Christians, and they, I think they took some kind of offense to it. I hope not, because that's not what this is about. But this is how I'm going to start this segment off. And when I saw this video for the first time, I was like, this dude is off his meds for real. And this is our good friend over there down in Patriot Church, some church, Pastor Greg Locke. So you don't know who Greg Locke is?
Yeah, I know Greg Locke.
There you go.
Can't even buy baby formula on Amazon. Check me. You can check me while I'm preaching. Try to buy some Infamil, see if you can. But there's truckloads of it down on the border. All right, we might as well just start preaching for a minute, all right? There's truckloads of it down on the border. You see, here's what the left does. If they can't kill your baby in the womb, they'll starve them to death later on after they've been born. Now, I'm going to say something right now going to make about maybe 10 of you mad. But I don't care if it makes all of you mad. We'll start over next week. You know, the Bible talks about church discipline, right? About kicking folks out that cause trouble. I'm almost going to say I'm about to the place. I am to the place. I'm to the place right now. If you vote Democrat, I don't even want you around this church. You can get out. You can get out, you demon. You can get out, you baby butchering election thief. You cannot be a Christian and vote Democrat in this nation. I don't care how mad that makes you. You get...
Greg Locke is the same person that sat out there and told people that if they wore a mask or in his church during COVID-19, that he was going to kick them out. He is a disgusting individual. Okay. I don't understand why he's able to have a platform. He's been banned from Twitter, as well as he needs to be banned from Facebook and Instagram. He spreads nothing but hate. That is the most disgusting display that I have ever seen. And I think that he really needs to lose his platforms, to stand there and not separate. First of all, the first thing you're supposed to do, and the first thing in the Constitution, is to separate church and state. So when are you going to do that and stop this mixing of the two? This is what they do with this abortion stuff. Oh God, all of them are talking about God as they're standing up there, God saving all the babies, all this kind of old stuff. When you're supposed to be separating the two, it is completely disgusting that he stood there and said that. But however, I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
I mean,
unacceptable.
And me being from the Bible Belt is the hypocrisy is what's disgusting.
A lot of it. It's a lot of
you
it.
know what I'm saying? It's this. If you do this, you can't be this or this right here. They say in the Bible it says he who is without sin cast the first stone. Well,
that's it all day. But
I'm just like, it's for me, these type of people who sit up there and quote scripture and do all this, but yet you pick and choose, you cherry pick what you choose to follow.
Absolutely. Every time.
It's the cherry picking, the hypocrisy and all of that. Because for me, if you want to get down into it, you might as well start talking about Leviticus and what fabrics you can wear, what foods you can eat, all of that.
But that's been since the beginning of time. But see, this is the problem that I have with the love-hate Christian thing, is he got up there and
lied too.
I don't remember. I grew up as a preacher's kid. I don't remember not one sermon that I've ever heard of any pastor, my dad included, that ran with my dad. Not one pastor talk about politics in one iota.
Absolutely.
It was all about Christ, heaven, Jesus, get yourself saved, all that. Nothing about politics. And just like Ben said, people, they start putting their faith in church. Start putting their faith in church or people. right? Because they get in tune with the person, and then even though the person is morally bankrupt, right, in the church, we've seen that, right, with a lot of these preachers. But it's the difference between religion and relationship.
Absolutely.
And that's the biggest thing. If we could get out of the whole religion, we're gonna be okay. But so many folks just dabble. I'm Christian, I'm this, I'm evangelical, I'm this, I feel this way. But for that pastor, that man, that clump of sales to get up there behind that pulpit and say, if you vote Democrat, you can't be a Christian, you a lie. You know what I'm saying? One of the comments I was reading on the YouTube when I was downloading that was, the Bible speaks of beware of false prophets, and he one of, you know what I'm saying, one of many.
There are a lot of them, and I'm gonna just go ahead and say it like this: I wouldn't trust no pastor of a mega church as far as I can throw them.
Exactly.
Joe Osteen started that. But,
because I'm gonna tell you something that just really made me point out to a lot of my aunties and uncles. Creflo $8.
Creflo.
He said,
Creflo.
when he said, God told me that y'all supposed to get me a new jet.
But he wasn't the only one that said that.
He wasn't the only person that said that, but my folks was listening to Creflo.
Yeah.
First of all, I said I don't trust nobody named Creflo $8. The last dude I knew named Dollar, he ran the Players Club. So we gonna throw that out there. So, but I said, y'all sitting up there listening to this man. He a hustler. He a straight hustler. And y'all sitting up there listening to somebody hustle y'all, and with the Lord's word. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And people are a victim of this daily, getting hustled. Because guess what? You sit there and you pay your last, going in there paying your tithes and doing all this. I'm going to get a blessing. But when your lights get turned off, where the church at?
Exactly. It always, when we talk about things like this, it reminds me of an episode of Martin. Y'all remember that episode of Martin?
We just talked about it when we went live.
Yeah, where Martin's mama was getting fleeced by the pastor or whatever, and
the Reverend Leon Lunny Love.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It always reminds me of that. These mega churches, you can't, like he just said, you can't go to them after your lights or something get cut off, or you need help with rent or something like that. The church is supposed to be a small entity that takes care of the community around it, not a mega church that sits on 20 acres. The pastor is living on 50 acres and he's driving a doggone Lamborghini. Royce. And you look out in the parking lot and you don't see anything but Hyundais, Hondas, and Pintos and stuff like that. Well, I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, come on, compare that to a Rolls Royce. You know, I mean, he's rolling big, and what y'all doing? You know what I'm saying? It's not okay. But there's a whole bunch that we could go into regarding the church, especially the black church. If we want to talk about the black church, the building fund, and ain't put a doorknob on the church. You know how many? You know, I just donated. My mother just called me a second ago. We selling something at the church for the building fund. I need you to buy some of these tickets. I sent her $20. That's all I had. Hey, I sent it. I sent it to her. You know, that's my mama, so I can't.
I would have sent her $10.50. That just me though. I mean, I can't.
This is like, for me, and I'm just speaking on my experience. When I was a child, I remember my first pastor and my second pastor. These were these old Southern, you know, they still live in the country over on they folks, you know, property. You know what I'm saying? They ain't riding good or nothing. They ain't you know, we all congregate. They know everybody. They know your mama. They know your grandmama. They've been in that same church with the ceiling fans, where you waving the fans, sweating. He up there preaching so hard, he's sweating. And you know what I'm saying? But you know, it was more of a family kind of thing.
Yeah.
As I got older and, you know, ventured out into the world and started going to these other churches, I'm looking around and I'm seeing these folks, pastors sitting up there with jewelry on that's shining good. When first time I saw an ATM machine in the church, I was through.
Yeah. At that point. Yeah.
At that point. I'm listening to the hypocrisy. I'm seeing what's going on around the church. Say what he was what with who, and y'all still letting him stand up there and do what?
And I don't understand it. And the church is still full.
And the church is still full.
I don't get it. I mean,
you know, he done slept with his deacon's wife, and y'all still letting him get up there and do that. Yeah, I gotta go.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they have the old saying. They say, you know, they try to cover that up with the sayings of, well, don't look at the messenger, get the message.
No, because if miss me with that, because I know ain't no man on earth walking perfect. True. But if you're supposed to be a shepherd of the word, then you need to strive to live your life in some type of moral, have some type of moral code that doesn't ensure that turns you off from another man's wife, that turns you off from children, that turns you off from all of this stuff that should not be going on.
I mean, you look at some of the biggest the disasters and with churches. You know, you look at Jimmy Swaggart, who was one of them. You look at Jim Baker, who frauded everybody. I mean, it's been throughout the history of church, and people are now they're starting to get to the point where they don't want to touch church. They don't want church. So this is what I'm going to do. I got 5 reasons why people stop going to church, and I'm not going to do it in any necessary order. I'm going to do the 5. Okay, and we'll talk about each one. All right. The first one, they're not finding any community. There's no community. There's church has now become, to me, maybe, and I could be wrong. Church is now like a status symbol. Okay?
Absolutely.
You know, what church do you go to? I go to like when Bishop Eddie Long was living, and he pastored New Birth down in Atlanta. What church you go to? I go to New Birth. Okay, and what else? You know what I'm saying? Even like
what they're supposed to be to me.
Right, Eddie Murphy. Eddie Long was smashing one of his armor bearers. I mean, come on. I mean, really? It's the New Birth way. No. It's not reaching the community. It does, and I firmly believe that. And there is so much in this community. There's so much church hurt. Name one I can guarantee you can name 10 people on both hands and toes that have been through church hurt. They've been, and now me and Quinn were talking about it earlier. You know, we have been hurt by the church, lied to, manipulated, all that. I mean, and there's just no community in the church anymore. I remember when I was little, I went to a missionary Baptist church, and every other Sunday we would get out of church early and we would go out into the community and pass out plates and do all that. There's none of that now.
No, ain't none of that. And this is the one thing that bothers me too. We raise money about everything, right? So you sitting up there, they steady patting the collection plate round about everything. I'm still walking to the same church. I ain't seeing no differences. Where is money going? Then they want the pastor. You got to pay the pastor. And then when the pastor anniversary, what the hell is a pastor's anniversary? I don't give a damn about him.
It's everybody's anniversary. Everybody get one of those.
I don't give a damn about his anniversary, about when the day he started pastoring up in this church, because he get a check every goddamn week.
Now I'm gonna tell you this though, in some of the churches, and I believe that the Kojic churches, you know, their pastors don't get paid.
Don't get salary.
However, they do the church anniversaries, and then they'll do like these love offerings, like maybe once a month or once every couple of months, but they get bank when they do it. You know what I'm saying? They get a big bank. They get enough to sustain for a couple of months, but they don't do salaries. Now, I understand that, but I think it's okay to have a
you know,
and we gonna do something. Let me show. If you want to do anniversary, do the anniversary of the founding of the church, and then collect money and do something to the church.
Oh yeah. Well, some people don't have donuts. But anyway, we're not gonna go back. I want.
Why you still got that water? Why you still got that 1967 water fountain sitting right there in this 2022 with the little cone cups?
Teach your ushers. Do that.
Put an air conditioner up in here.
Lots of Mo fans. Well, we can go all day, but listen, I want to say this as a disclaimer. I am not, because I grew up in the church. I grew up as a pastor's kid, and there's a reason why I'm doing these 5, because I want to tie it right back into the topic when I get done here. Number 2, with the top 5 and why people start going to church, they're not learning about God because you're talking about politics.
And you talking about money
and nonsense, and you talking about that you giving personal beliefs of what you feel about something. I had some friends out in Idaho. You guys know I lived in Idaho for 5 years, but I still got friends back there. And there was, and it refers back into the hate. There was a book sign, a book reading literacy program they was going to do at a Barnes and Noble, and that was fine. But what happened was there were the people that were going to that through the program wanted to do it in drag, and a lot of folks were in a complete uproar about that, and the hate that came from it is one thing. My wife and I got into a discussion about it. She said the same thing, and this is my wife's beliefs. Her belief is, if it was my children, I wouldn't let them go because whatever. But it was a thing of, that's a choice as a parent. But to be able to, in the same breath, go and say, well, I hate you, this person, because the Bible says, right? You're spewing that hate right back to them. That's what we're talking about. There's no hate like Christian love. I love you though. The Bible said. All right. So they're not learning about God, nothing.
So here's what I learned from a friend of mine that's a pastor.
Okay. That's scary.
And I learned it without him knowing that I learned it. They got 7 to 10 good sections of the Bible that they gonna recycle on you.
Every time.
Regurgitation, yeah. Every time.
They just gonna recycle on. Out of all them books, they gonna go to John, they gonna go to Acts, they gonna go to Proverbs, they gonna go to Matthew, and they gonna go to Mark, and but that's what most of their content, and they probably go in Corinthians a little bit, but that's what most of their content gonna come from. Out of all the books. They damn sure gonna preach Revelations. They gonna scare you into submission.
They gonna scare you. Listen, we'll move on. Number 3, the top 5, why people start going to church. Legitimate doubt is prohibited. You cannot have a conversation with somebody and disagree with them. I was watching the video before we went live where there was a woman's a YouTube video, Karen, of course, and she got into a full-blown argument with this young man because he would not repent. You don't have that right as a Christian if you are because the word Christian is a derivative of being Christ-like. Correct? I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Yeah, it's the following of Christ.
Right.
But you also have those, what a lot of people have, because they eliminated the section of, like, they're very small, but they eliminated the section of the Christians, and then Christian has exploded because the Catholics are supposed to be Christian also, but the Gnostics are the Christians that they found fanatical because they also the books of the Bible that aren't in the Bible, they followed those books, like the books of Mary and the books of there's a lot of books that didn't make the Council of Nicaea when Charlemagne adopted the Christian faith. But the Gnostics, they don't subscribe to them, who probably are the true followers of Christ.
But
because what we get now is the European version of Christianity.
Okay, so that's where the hate come from.
That's where the hate come from. Okay. Because when the church got into power, the church seen what they can use. When Europeans got a hold of Christianity, they seen how they could use the faith to subjugate people, to manipulate people.
More people done die in the name of Jesus, and that's the thing that really gets me. And But I hate
the religion has been perverted.
I hate this to read. I had a classmate this morning. I was reading his post, and it was an evangelical post. You know how we should not kill babies and all this other good stuff right here. But in the whole post though, you passing judgment. How? That's not what we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to be passing any kind of judgment. You know what I'm saying? But here's the number four reason. God missing altogether in the church. Ain't no
I
God
agree.
in this.
I
Ain't
agree.
no God in of it. Like how? How can you if you say how you hate your brother, but in the next breath say I love you? Or Jesus said, I did a Facebook Live the other day about it. You're gonna, oh, well, God told me to tell you that you can't be you can't be a heathen, you can't be a sinner. Man, please, the Bible says that God hates the sin, not the sinner. Right? So my daddy, when he would preach every sermon, I swear he could have said it in every sermon. He may not have, but it seemed like he did. But in every sermon, he would always say, let the tap and the tear grow together. When I come back, Jesus, when he comes back, he'll do separating. Who are we? Who are we to tell anybody what they can and can't do? Who, you believe that there's only two genders. Okay, that's your belief. But how can you take that belief and say, well, you're gonna go straight to hell? Okay, first of all, anybody to tell you that is just tell them to shut up. How you gonna go straight to hell? Who is you? You going with me? You going with me? We going arm in arm together.
But you know what? I asked this once, once before when I was young. I said, my grandma slapped me in the mouth too, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah. But I said, the Bible don't really mention hell in it. So how they really know it's the Bible don't mention, if you don't really see the word hell in the Bible. It may have been added in the new versions of the Bible, but the old versions we was using, the word hell wasn't in there. So where you get hell from?
Yeah, who described it?
And next thing you know, don't question God. I ain't questioning God. I'm asking y'all where y'all get it from.
My mom used to say all the time, no question God. Don't do everything.
I'm asking y'all where y'all get it from because I'm listening to man. I ain't heard God speak to me yet.
And and some people that spew that hate, and they say they hear from God, that's indigestion. You need some Pepto for that.
Pretty much.
There's an app for that. All right. It's no.
You know what I'm saying? and they ain't heard God. They heard their granddaddy, their daddy, or their mama that groomed them into that hate.
And the number one reason, in my opinion, why people have stopped going to church, the church has become so irrelevant. The leaders are hypocritical, and leaders have experienced too much moral failure. Now, to me, that has created so much church hurt amongst a bunch of people because they ran into a church that the leader was hypocritical. I used to go to a church years ago where my pastor would get up there, and he was an apostle. He would get up there in the pulpit, and he would sling that nonsense from the pulpit. And if he knew your personal business, it's over. Don't be in a counseling session with him and tell him some personal stuff. The whole congregation going to hear about it. Then they'll cloak it with private rebuke. No, private love, public rebuke, or something like that. Like, you gonna take my personal business? You gonna take my affliction? And I told you in secrecy and privacy,
and confidence,
and in the confidence, and you gonna go and tell the whole congregation, and the congregation ain't stupid. They know exactly who you're talking about, because some of these egotistical pastors will sit there and fling that mess and look right at you when you do it.
Exactly.
That's that brother right there, boy. He ain't right. What? How? It's become so irrelevant. They've experienced too much more failure. If you think about, you look at John Gray, who's been caught cheating so many times, and probably got a kid out there somewhere. You know what I'm saying? I all five of these, I totally agree with, and 3 of the 5 of these is the reason why I stopped going years ago. Because I'm not getting anything. And then somebody don't like my opinion about something, I get attacked. These are church members.
Yeah. But you know what you know what I learned, and I'm only 36 years old, but I stopped going to church a while, like in my early 20s. And the only time I would go to church is if my grandma, when she was living, would just, coming in and just ask me, will I go to church with her? And I go in there, but she seldom did that. But here's my thing about it, though. I don't have to go to this building with these people to believe in God and to believe that Jesus is my savior. If I want to hear some singing, I got gospel anytime I can put that up, pull that up on my phone, read my Bible and say my prayers. I don't have to go to this building and contribute to and be a part of your group or be a part of what you got going on. So just because I had these views of the church does not mean I have these views of being, that I'm an atheist or something like that. I got a problem with what go on with the people in the building.
You can't have that argument with them, though. They'll call you all kinds of heathens and tell you going right to hell because you speak that opinion.
Because here's the thing that I try to remind people of, since y'all so hip on Jesus. What was the first thing Jesus did when he got to Jerusalem and seen what was going on in his church? He threw a fit
and turned over tables, everything. Jesus was gangster. He meant it. You know what I'm saying? You collecting taxes on my people? Yeah, we're going to go ahead and flip
that. And people don't realize that the word tithe, that they only started collecting money for tithes when the Christian church, when the church was taken over by Europeans, when they seen that they can get money and land out of people for the church.
I'll tell you, crazy. Well, listen,
learn your history.
This is what we're gonna do. This is the section of the final thoughts here. What I want Miss Tiffany to do is to give us your final thoughts about the show. Thank you for coming through. I really appreciate you for being here.
You're welcome.
Babies. I know I texted you when it was Deanna's birthday. I was gonna cash app you some money for her birthday. But
did you text me?
Yeah, I did.
You did?
I think you changed phones though. After I think when you changed phones, and then
I switched phones, and you texted me yesterday, and your number wasn't. Anyway. So it was good you text me again because I had your number in my new phone because I had to get that old phone, man. Although it hurt me to let it go, I had to let it go. I've been had it for 6 months and never switched. But
your heart and your wallet.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank y'all for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. And I got a little cough over here.
It's too much.
But I will just say that, my final thoughts, great show, wonderful show. On Roe v. Wade, you guys, like I said, make sure you go and support the nonprofits that you can. Also get out and vote in November if you're in a place where you need to vote. And also on the bishop thing, he's a disgusting piece of shit. And then, I don't go to church. So anyway,
there's that.
There's that.
So, how can the folks get a hold of you? I know you want to grow that Black Red News page over there on Facebook.
Oh, yeah, you can go over to my Black Red News page on Facebook. Just put in Double D Mother on Facebook, and you'll pick it right up. You get everything over there. I do politics, celebrity tea, anything. So make sure you guys go ahead and come and take a look at us over there on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Also, you can check out my podcast, The Real Tea with Double D, wherever you stream your podcast.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here, Ted. I really appreciate you. Quinn, what's your final thoughts, buddy? We're going to roll out.
Pass the trash. Get out and vote. If you want people to go to church, fix the church.
There you go.
Bring it back home to where it's community and family.
There you go. And here's my final thought is this right here. Shut up. Shut up. I mean, if you have an opinion, shut up. I mean, if you hate something, just shut up. It don't have anything to do with you. And then you opening your mouth, it's gonna make it worse. Just roll with it. Worry about you. The Williams brothers had a great song back in the day, great gospel song. And they said, "Sweep around your own front door."
Before you sweep around mine.
He said, take 6 months to mind your own business, and take the other 6 months to leave other folks' business alone, and you'll be all right. All right. Until next week, man. Y'all be blessed. Love y'all.